Change. There's always something that triggers it. It's a movement, a spoken gesture, a thought, fueled by passion, ambition. Youth of the world, let us unite to move forward and impact the globe. Let us rise above everything and meet the challenge of change.
ضيوفنا الكرام، رحبوا معنا بنيل هاربيسون، فنان من سايبر فاونديشن من المملكة المتحدة.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Neil Harbisson, Cyborg artist, Cyber Foundation, UK.
Thank you. Well, I was born with an unusual visual condition called achromatism, which means that I see things in grayscale. I've never seen a color. I don't know what blue looks like or what yellow looks like. So I was always interested in color because I couldn't ignore that color exists. That's why in 2003, I decided to create a system that would allow me to sense color. I created an antenna with friends that allows me to hear the vibrations of color. Each color has a vibration of light, and the antenna allows me to hear this vibration of light. So if you could hear red, if we could all hear the vibration of red, we would hear these sounds, which are very subtle now, but it's very subtle vibrations that allow me to feel that this is orange, for example, and each color was transformed into sound. So this system allowed me to suddenly hear the sounds of colors around me, so I memorized the sound of red, blue, but I didn't want to use technology as a tool. I wanted to use it as a body part. So then I started designing this antenna as an implant, and then this antenna was finally implanted inside my head, so I was able to hear the colors around me. So the antenna now has 4 implants inside my head. It's a chip that vibrates depending on the colors in front of me. There's also another chip that allows me to receive colors from other parts of the world, so there's internet connection in my head. And the 2 other implants are to hold the structure of the antenna. So when the antenna was finally implanted, it took 2 months for it to merge with my bone. So now this antenna is osseointegrated inside my head, so it's officially part of my body. So I'm now officially taller now, because this is also part of my height, so I had to get used to the new height. But also feeling the vibrations in my head was a whole new experience. It meant that whatever I looked had music, because there's color everywhere. So suddenly I was able to hear Picasso. I was able to hear any artist around me. I could go to an art gallery and hear the music of paintings. So it completely changed the way I sensed art. You can easily distinguish painters by the sound of them. Like Andy Warhol sounds very loud usually because the colors are very bright. So it changed the way I perceived art. And also supermarkets, because when I go to supermarkets, I hear lots of melodies. It's like going to a nightclub for me, because there's lots of music in the supermarkets. There's lots of colors. Also, food has changed, because now when I look at salads, for example, I hear different notes. So I can compose music with salads, and I can eat songs. Depending on how I distribute the food on the plate, I can eat my favorite songs. Also, the secondary effect of hearing color is that when I listen to music, I can also feel colors, so I can paint what I hear. So to me, this painting is actually music, because when I look at the painting, I can actually hear Mozart's Queen of the Night. So this is a transposition of music into color, and this is Baby Baby by Justin Bieber, which looks very different from Mozart. So music now is color, and color to me is music. So merging with technology has given me this new sense that allows me to express artistically. Also, it can allow me to dress in a way that I sound good. So I can choose which notes I want to wear, and then I can decide if I want to dress in C major or A minor. And also the way I see interior design has changed. I can now paint my house so that it sounds C major. For example, if I want the living room to sound very happy, I can paint it pink, blue, and yellow, and then when I go in the living room, I hear a major chord. Or if I want the ceiling to be silent, I paint it black and white. Or if I want a melody in a specific place, then I put different colors. So it's changed the way I perceive absolutely everything. So it's, this is the example of a house, but also if I now experience just looking at people, this also changes the way I perceive the vibrations of faces. An example, this is the bedroom. For example, in the bedroom, I can paint it in 3 different colors, B, E, and D. So I have the 3 notes, B, E, and D, that to me is turquoise, violet, and pink. So these 3 colors have bed, the word bed. Or kitchens, I like to paint them violet, because violet is a very high frequency, so it keeps me alert in the kitchen. So this is just a few examples. But this is a sense that I cannot share with people because it's happening in my head. That's why I created an app that allows your phone to actually hear the sound of color. So it's a mobile app that allows me to share this experience with the audience. And by sharing it means that I can also create public artwork where people can go out in the street and hear the sound of colors. So they can use the app, and then if they walk underneath the sculpture, then they can hear the sound of the colors. Or also, we can create color concerts where the audience can hear the sound of colors. So in this concert, for example, the musicians were not using a score. They were using the colors on stage. So when the stage was red, the performers were playing red. If the stage was blue, they were performing C sharp. So color was the score. So this is a way of sharing a new sense with the audience. And also, the internet connection allows me to connect to NASA's International Space Station, which then allows me to sense colors from space. So by doing this, my sense of color is no longer on Earth, but in space. And this allows me to become a senstronaut, which means that basically we can send our senses to space, explore space without having to physically go there. When I connect to NASA's International Space Station, I feel lots of colors that I never receive on Earth, like lots of ultraviolets, because the antenna allows me to sense colors that are invisible to the human eye, from infrareds to ultraviolets. So connecting to NASA's International Space Station allows me to sense ultraviolets that I never sense here on Earth. And as I was saying, one of the biggest changes is the way I sense people, because when I look at someone's face, I can now hear the sound of their face. And we all sound different, because we all have different sounds, different colors in our faces. So I like creating sound portraits where I get close to someone's face, and I write down the sound of the eyes, the lips, the skin, the hair, and then I send them an MP3 of their face so they can listen to themselves. This is an example. For example, if not, we can play an example of a face, how a face sounds. Maybe we can put the volume a bit up. So now we're hearing the sound of 2 eyes and the hair and the skin. So this is the sound of this specific face, but we all sound different. And what really shocked me is that even identical twin brothers sound different because they have slight differences. Even the left eye and the right eye might sound slightly different. And what really shocked me is that people who say they're white, they're not actually white. People who say they're white, they're actually very, very light orange. And people who say they're black, they're not actually black. They're also very, very dark orange. So the fact that people say that humans are black and white is completely false. We are all orange. What has changed a lot... Thank you. The secondary effect of having an antenna implanted in my head is the social reaction. Since 2004, I've been stopped every single day in the street by people asking what this is. In 2004, most people thought it was a reading light, and they would ask me if I could turn on the light, or they were wondering where my book was. In 2005-06, most people thought it was a flexible microphone, so they thought it was a microphone. In 2007-08, people thought it was a hands-free telephone, so they thought I was speaking to someone. In 2009, people thought it was a GoPro cam, that I was filming my life. So people would wave at me thinking that I was filming them. In 2012-13, people thought I was working for Google Street View and that I was streaming the streets. In 2015, children would ask me if this was some kind of selfie stick attached to my head. And in 2016, many people shouted at me, Pokemon, and they tried to catch me. So it's changed what people think it is. Hopefully in the 2020s, people will just think it's a new part of the body, and we'll see more people merging with technology for artistic reasons. I think that by merging with technology, we can open up lots of artistic and creative expressions that up until now have been undiscovered. Thank you very much.